Part 2. And we begin part 2 with a truly baffling R-Truth segment. I have no idea what was going on here. Like, none. The commentators didn't really explain it before it came up, and it was just weird. It was like they were documenting some kind of R-Truth breakdown. He just went around a public place and shouted at everyone who'd listen that his name was Pretty Ricky until they threw him out of this building. What the fuck was that? I mean, I can't believe Word Up wasn't the worst thing that happened on this week's SmackDown. Wasn't even close. I know there was some kind of Sacha Baron Cohen, Bruno thing going on. That was about all I could ascertain, but if anyone can shed any light on what happened here, please do, because that was weird. Then we had Melina and Eve Torres versus Michelle McCool and Layla. It's your typical Divas tag team match, basically. It's not nearly as good as the last two Divas tag team match as we've seen, mainly because it didn't contain Gail Kim. Gail Kim is awesome. Gail Kim should just hold both women's belts and defeat everyone every week, in my view, to be honest. But we start off in this one, Eve Torres and Layla reignite their feud because they have such great chemistry. Eve Torres actually impressed me by successfully performing a fireman's carry takeover, but then she botched a roll-up, so I was like, yep, fair enough. This match is not very good, to be honest. Michelle McCool keeps interfering from the outside until Eve Torres eventually gets the hot tag to Melina. It was one of those things that really annoyed me. Eve Torres crawled over really slowly to tag Melina into the match, so Layla, who had already been tagged in, had to wait. She just stood in her corner. She didn't try and stop Eve Torres because she knew she'd reach her in time, so she was just like... until finally Melina got tagged in. Melina cleared house rather unconvincingly. Melina tried to get Michelle McCool force tagged into the match, but McCool declined. Eventually McCool got pushed off the apron and Melina rolled up Layla. Quite why Melina has to roll up Layla, I have no idea. Clearly she should just hit her finisher and win, but whatever. After the match, McCool comes in to attack Melina and they fight in a rather unconvincing diva-like way, leading to an inevitable rematch at Night of Champions, which I'm not against because I feel they can do much better than their match at the Bash. Then we had CM Punk versus the Great Khali. Jeff Hardy comes in for commentary, and I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Why are they putting Jeff Hardy on commentary? Jeff said his pretend eye injury was his way of expressing himself, which I found funny because, of course, he has such trouble expressing himself with words that he'd have to use a fake eye injury. Punk comes in and delivers a promo. This is a good promo. This is a good heel promo where he talks about how Jeff Hardy, how Punk's got eye drops and he got them from the doctor legitimately, and this is the only foreign substance he allows in his body, whereas Jeff Hardy allows all these drugs. That was the gist, right? This was a good promo, a good heel promo. But this is not how they've been booking it, right? I mean, this is just a U-turn. And they've made it suddenly far less subtle booking. Punk, the whole idea was Punk was doing a slow heel turn, right? He wasn't turning heel. He was just very slowly, and occasionally he'd get annoyed by one of these sort of sanctimonious faces, and he'd do something out of character. That was the idea. Now he's just turned full-fledged heel in the middle of this. Surely they should just do this at Night of Champions, have Punk turn properly heel. That would have more impact. No. Crap. Then my favourite bit of this was that JR went, Jeff Hardy is actually here just to observe CM Punk. He's not going to commentate. I found that absolutely hilarious. Then we had Punk versus Khali. Khali no-sells Punk's kicks, clotheslines, and all sorts of other stuff. And then starts doing all that to him. They make CM Punk look slightly better than everyone else who's jobbed to Khali by saying that CM Punk's flying clothesline was the only thing to take Khali off his feet in months. But no, this is CM Punk jobbing. That's all this is. I mean, I don't care that he didn't get pinned. This was a fucking squash match. The end of the match, Khali's totally controlled it, and then he just Punjabi plunges CM Punk. So we're supposed to expect, what, the Great Khali was going to pin the world champion. So the Great Khali is better than the world champion. But then Kane's music plays, the Great Khali gets distracted, and CM Punk doesn't even win the match because of this. You know, CM Punk just leaves the ring because apparently the world champion is a sideshow to a Kane versus the Great Khali feud. Clearly, if you're going to have Kane interfere, you have it be a relatively even match and then Kane show up. That's clearly the way to book it. You don't make your world champion look shit against the Great Khali, and then the Great Khali and Kane do some... they have a sort of showdown with chairs, which the Great Khali wins and Kane retreats. And you're just wondering, Kane, why did you pick this fight with this guy you're clearly really intimidated of? Then we have Crime Time again. 2 times in an episode. Next week's word better be released. I mean, I can't handle these guys. JR sells their victory over the Hart Dynasty last week as cheating, which is good, because no one wants them to win clean. No one wants them to present the idea that Crime Time can actually beat the Hart Dynasty. Bobby I felt was a bit harsh on Crime Time last week. I don't mean Crime Time, I mean JTG. I think JTG's actually quite good. He did a sort of middle rope Zack Ryder type leg drop takedown. I think he's actually quite good. He probably wasn't harsh enough on Shad though, who is fucking terrible. He is one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen. His wrestling performance is only mildly less embarrassing than soiling yourself in public. I mean, he's just awful. His finisher's an STO and he can't even perform it. So this match was not very good. It was really short. David Hart Smith performed the worst standing vertical suplex I've ever seen, and Todd Grisham said, "Doesn't that remind you of his dad?" No, it doesn't remotely remind me of his dad. It reminds me of his dad about as much as Ted DiBiase Jr.'s promo reminds me of his dad. Okay, that was terrible. So Crime Time are dominating. Shad comes in and he's about to hit Fugnificence when Natalia distracts the referee, and Crime Time and the Hart Dynasty do it was basically Tyson Kidd did a leg sweep and DH Smith did a clothesline, and that was the pin. And Todd Grisham quite rightly went, "What, that's it?" Because I was just like, that's not an ending to a match. I mean, I'm all for people not finishing matches with their finishers, but that was nothing. That wouldn't even hurt. I mean, I don't get that at all. That was just a takedown. I don't know why, since the referee was distracted anyway, they didn't just do the heart attack. That would have made a lot more sense. But the Hart Dynasty win anyway, so that's the main thing. Okay, I'll turn over and do a short part 3 about Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio. Okay.